No more tools needed to change wheels on your grinder, or at least on this grinder. This is the Makita X Lock Grinder. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm Tim Johnson. You're watching Shop Tool Reviews. This is the Makita XAG26, and it is their 18-volt brushless X Lock Grinder. What is X Lock? Well, it's a new fastening system for putting on your grinding wheels. Whether it's cutting blades, whether it's wire wheels, wire cups, grinding wheels, flap disc, you name it, they'll all go on with a simple flip of the X Lock button there. So you see here on the front, once it opens up, we put the blade on, pull it in, and it locks into place. So as simple as that. To release it, release the button, it falls off. Now that's not the only feature on this grinder, so let's come in, let's take a closer look, then we'll come back and we'll give you our thoughts. What we have here is the Makita XAG26, and it is a brand new grinder. It's a 4.5, 5-inch grinder, and it's part of their X Lock platform. So X Lock was actually designed by the Bosch Corporation, and so I'm assuming that Makita is licensing that. So it has the X Lock system. Now, if you don't know what the X Lock system is, it's pretty self-explanatory, and I'm sure you can see by the wheels here that it's a different type of fastening system for putting wheels on grinders. So whether you're got a grinding wheel, whether you got a masonry wheel, even wire brush cup, what have you, cutting wheel, all of these can come with that X Lock design. Now, Makita is not the only corporation to offer this, obviously. It's originally made by the Bosch Corporation. Diablo has some blades now. So there are several different manufacturers manufacturing different blades and wheels with the X Lock system. Now, so not only will these wheels work on the X Lock system, but these same wheels will go on your 7/8 arbor typical grinder. So you can put this on your typical arbor and clamp that down with the fastening nut, and you're good to go. Now, things like this cup, things like that is not going to work, and even like this wire brush right here because of the recession there. But as far as all your flat wheels, your grinding discs, things like that, as long as the fastening nut, the grinder nut, with the arbor nut will fit on there, the spanner, then you can attach those. And they have everything from flap disc to cutting wheels, grinding wheels, you name it. Now, here's the X Lock system. Here's the beauty in this. It's the fact that now no longer do you need any tools, and I know some of you are saying, well, I don't need tools anyway. I've claimed that many times. I typically grab the wheel and spin it off and spin the nut off. However, sometimes it can be a pain. So once you flip this lever right here, it basically locks these tabs back. Now all you have to do is take your wheel, line it up on the X platform there, push it down, and that's going to lock that into place. And now those tabs lock over, and no longer will it come off. Now here's the cool thing on this. I'm going to leave the guard off for a second so nobody panic. And yes, I have a battery in there. And I'm going to show that if I flip this up, that wheel will absolutely just fall off of there. Let me put it back on. And again, easy as clicking it into place. So here's the dangerous part. So there's no guard on there, and we bring it up to speed. And then we flip the lever. So that's the cool thing about it, is the X Lock system does not function under power. So as long as that's spinning, it's not going to allow that system to operate. It's only going to operate when it's still, when it's not in motion. And any of these other blades are going to fit just as easy. You can pretty much just fall off of there. And you can line your blade up, push it down, and lock that into place. So very easy to operate the system. Now let's talk about the grinder a little bit. Number one, obviously the X Lock system. So no need for tools to change wheels or anything like that. Also, even the guards here. So we have a cutting guard. So if we're doing a lot of cutting, we can use that. Or a grinding guard. And again, this is going to fit 4.5 and 5-inch wheels. So you have a toolless guard change as well. So we have this little lever right here. So we're going to line this up, and you'll see the tabs there. Push it down and then turn it. And it's going to index and lock into a place, and I can push this tab right here. So So once I push that tab, I can turn it to another index. So several different places that it will lock that into place. So easy to make those changes depending on whether you're cutting, grinding, what side of the tool you're using, and so forth. And again, I can depress it, turn it all the way around, and then pull that off as well. Then I can put my cutting guard on there if I need to. And also keep in mind, when you put that guard on, it's got some spring tension washers right here. So you want to press it down and then turn it. And then once you've got it turned, then you don't have to press down anymore. So again, pretty nice in the fact that no tools needed, even making those guard changes. So a couple of other features on here. Number one, 8,500 RPMs, no load speed. You get a paddle switch here. I love a paddle switch on a grinder. I'm not a slide lock type of guy. I know some people, depending on what industry they may be in, they like a slide lock. I'm more of a paddle style. I like the fact that the paddle is going to enable me to kind of grab this in several different locations, my index finger, my pinky finger, in larger areas on the tool or in more areas of the tool to be able to operate that. All I have to do is flip the safety and grab that paddle. You also notice we get kind of a soft startup as well. Speeds it up pretty quickly, but it is a soft startup. Also, we have the brake. So let me put a wheel on here. So you'll see here, within 2 seconds, it will stop that from 8,500 RPMs to nothing. 1,001. So yeah, just over a second, it's stopping that. So it's actually using a brake to stop that wheel. So that's nice. And once you stop grinding, let go of the button, that it's going to stop that wheel rather quickly. Now we have our handle here. We can go on the left or we can go right. So typical grinding handle. You also have stainless steel mesh screens here. That's basically your intake. So your air's coming in here, coming all the way through the body of the grinder, and then it's coming out, venting up here, expelling all that hot air from cooling all the electronics and cooling the motor. And these stainless grills are going to keep, or that stainless mesh is going to keep all the cockroaches and alligators or any of the bad things from entering the system here. And you can pull this out. So you can actually grab this. Say you can, there you go. And wash that out if you need to, blow it out from the inside out, and then put it back into place. So that's going to be able to do that on either side. Now it is a brushless motor. It's going to run on their LXT series 18 volt batteries. We've got a 5 amp hour battery on here. So while we've got it on here, let me go ahead and let's put a guard on. And let's go ahead and put a typical flat disc on there, and let's weigh this. So now we've got the tool kind of as we would use it. 5 amp hour battery, grinding wheel, guard, everything. 5 pounds, 15.5 ounces. So almost 6 pounds, a little bit short, half an ounce short of 6 pounds as far as what this tool is. And that's ready to run. That's not a bare tool with no battery or anything. So that's your wheel, your guard, your battery, and it is a typical 5.0 battery that you would use on this grinder. Now another cool thing on here is the battery gauge here. Now obviously, typical, we can check the battery gauge there on the actual battery, but also as you're holding this, if I pull the trigger, then I can see an indicator right there on the tool and I can see the state of my battery. I don't have to go turn it over and push a button. I can just look there on my tool to quickly see that. So I'm going to change this blade out here, and I'm going to put on a cutting blade. And let's go over, let's use this, we'll do some cutting and we'll do some grinding and see what we think about the performance. Okay, so we've got a cutting wheel on the Makita. Then we got a piece of, I believe this is 3/8. I know it's thicker than a 1/4 inch, but it's not quite a half. So we're going to cut a couple of slices in this 3/8 angle, and then we'll do some grinding. that's not a thin piece of metal we cut through there. You see I could kind of bury that down to where it would lose some RPMs, but it definitely stayed up. It never died or never went into cutout. You also see the mesh, the stainless steel mesh, doing its job from that paint and dust that was coming off of that, that angle there. I'm going to go ahead and really try to bury this and see how much pressure I've got to put on it to put it into a cutout mode. Okay, so I leaned on that harder and harder and harder to get that to stop, and put quite a bit of pressure on it. So pretty impressed on a 4.5, 5-inch grinder, cordless, of how much pressure I was able to put on that before it actually went into cutout. Okay, let's get this cutting wheel off of here and put the grinding wheel on, and now we're ready to go. Okay, we've got another piece of metal here on the table, and again, it's every bit of 3/8 of an inch thick here, at least through the body. I believe this is a piece of 8-inch channel. We're going to go ahead and put a bevel on this, try to put about a 45-degree bevel. Now we'll take the grinding wheel off and we'll put a flat disc on. Let's first talk about the X Lock system. As I mentioned, Makita did not develop the X Lock system. Bosch did. However, Makita is using that. I'm sure they're paying some licensing right to do that. However, the price of their grinder really didn't go up much, if at all. This is $179. Now, most other grinders in this class are right at that, or even at that $199 range when you look at comparable grinders. As far as performance goes, we were pretty impressed with this. We really didn't have any feedback negatively on it. It seemed to handle very well for that 4.5 to 5-inch class. Now, at the same time, are you replacing a corded grinder for a cordless grinder? No, I don't think we're there yet. Number one, you're going to burn through battery. So the cutting and the grinding that you saw, all that happened on this same battery, but we used about half the battery. We have 2 bars left on this battery. And typically on a grinder, that's about when I'll change out to another battery. So cordless is not quite there yet on runtime. But those small jobs, those small details, maybe even kind of check-off items, if you will. If you got to go in and brush up on something, or maybe just grind out a well and weld it real quick, you can't beat the convenience of a cordless grinder. So performance, we're impressed with it. It did very well. Is it the strongest of the cordless category? Not quite, but it's up there with the best. Now, as far as the ease of use for the X Lock system, now listen, I am one of those people that have preached forever that I don't need tools to change out grinding wheels, at least not usually, unless they're just really, really stuck on there. Usually I can grab the spindle lock, grab the wheel, and turn that off and spin the new one on and be off to the races. However, am I against the X Lock? No, I'm not. Here's why. Because number one, it's very simple. It's safe as well. You can see under power that it doesn't work. It has to be actually stopped. And here's the biggest reason is when I started checking on pricing, they have already got the price down on some of these wheels on flap disc and cutting wheels, masonry blades, that they're as cheap and even some cases cheaper. If you buy the multi-packs, you're paying less than if you bought just a regular 7/8 inch arbor blade. So we're already seeing, since not only Bosch is making them, Makita is making blades, Diablo's making blades. So we're seeing more and more manufacturers make these blades. Now, if these were 2 and 3 times as much, I would say, hey, it's kind of, not ready yet. But listen, we've already seen that price drive down. So I think it's a great system. Also, the fact that they're cross-compatible, so you can still run them on another grinder. So I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to go to an X Lock system, because there's no premium on price on the tool nor on the consumables. There may be a little bit when you go to the specialties like your cups and things like that. I really didn't price those out. I looked at more of the common stuff like the flap disc, the cutoff wheels, and the grinding wheels. As I mentioned, price on this, $179 for the XAG26. Not a bad price at all. 3-year warranty on this. Typical refined feel from Makita. What I mean is they typically have more of a ergonomic stance to their tools, a more smooth approach to their tools, and you see it reflected here in this grinder as well. Again, performance-wise, it was right up there with the best. It did very, very well. We were impressed with it, so check it out. It's the Makita XAG26. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button, but only if you liked our video. If you hated our video, then give us that thumbs down, but would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.